Okay, welcome to this week's edition of Ask Chioma Anything. Um, Ask Chioma Anything is where all your business questions are answered. And tonight, I will be your host, and my name is Soji Fagade. I am a co-host on Ask Chioma Anything. Unfortunately, let me just go back again and say that okay, this week we are having to have a just a recap of last week's broadcast that Chioma did. Unfortunately, we had some um, network glitches, which made it now impossible to hear all of the entire broadcast. And I think last week's broadcast was really, really lovely. So we felt that it made much more sense for us to try to have it um, a repeat this week. Unfortunately, Chioma isn't here, so I'm standing in for her this week. So just before we just get going, I mean, if you haven't been here before, this is Enterprise Experts where we broadcast business nuggets that you can apply to your business and get it to work straight away. Now, we are also on YouTube. You can follow us by, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. And if you want to get notified anytime we go live, it's also helpful if you click on the um, notification bell button at the bottom of your screen. And if you're on Facebook, you can follow us on Facebook on our business page of Enterprise Experts. And yes, leave your comments. If you have any questions you let us to deal with, by all means, please leave your comments in the comment section below, or send us an email on at info at enterpriseexperts.com. So info at enterpriseexperts.com. Welcome to this week's edition. Now, last week we dealt with about 3 questions in total, and I think it was listed as 2 questions, but one of the questions um, was kind of split into 2 parts. So I'm going to try and cover all those both questions today. And if you're here for the first time, please leave your name in the comment section and just tell us where you are joining us from and a little bit about yourself. I'll see if I can read out those comments if you leave them in the comment section below. So moving on to the questions. The first question last week we had was, why do so many small businesses never or rarely expand? Now, I think where do we even begin to look at this question from? So, a lot of it, what you find with most small businesses is that obviously they're usually owned by people who have decided to go into business for a variety of reasons. I mean, some people have gone into business um, with a view to just having an extra source of income. Some people do it full time. Some people do run their businesses part time. And so, I mean, expansion is usually a matter for each individual business owner. And I think overall, I think based on anecdotal evidence, you find that um, people who own small businesses tend to kind of sometimes limit their horizon. They don't want to expand. They're happy where they are, and because they're happy where they are, it's always a reflection of the business owner, and it's usually a one-man decision. With the larger businesses, you find that there might be multiplicity of interests, and of course, in order for the revenue to go around, they possibly benefit from having the business expand its horizons. So, I mean, there are a variety of reasons why people uh, decide or choose to remain small because, I mean, sometimes it's just that the economies of scale will just not work for the particular type of business that you're in. And if you're a one-man business, there's only so much expansion that you can engage in. So I think that's one area where people tend to sort of limit themselves to those elements that they have control over. When I think people think that when they expand or increase their potential or their capacity, the tendency is that they might lose control and they might not be able to stay on top of the business that they're running. So, and as business owners, we tend to like to have control over what we are doing. Right. I've got Afolabi Ajimobi. Oh, thank you for joining us, Afolabi. If you know where we're calling from, where you're joining us from, thank you so much. And also, I mean, we want to sort of see if you have any questions. Like I said, just please leave the questions in the comment section, and we'll come back and deal with it either this week or next week. If you can see if you can answer those questions on today, we'll be very, very happy to. But the questions we're dealing with today, one of them we've done already, which is why do small business owners hardly ever expand? We talked about scope of expansion. People want to retain control, and others just don't like getting out of their comfort zone. And where you're able to, where there's a likelihood that you take out of your comfort zone, people tend to sort of resist that, and people can be resistant to change as well. They don't want things that would alter their balance or create some sort of lack of control. So people want to retain control, and they feel that by staying small, by staying either in one location, they're able to control matters a lot better. And a lot of small businesses are also small, are owned by individuals as opposed to large groups of shareholders. So if you have one individual running a business, chances are that he or she wants to retain control of that business. I hope that answers that question for whoever asked the question. I mean, I don't have a name of the person that asked the question, but if that was you and you're on tonight, please let's have your name, and please indicate by leaving a comment in the comment section below. Right, so moving on to the next question. The next question is, what is it like to have your own business or company? And there's the other part of the question is, what percentage of my salary should I save? I'm 30 years old and I've just started financial planning. We'll take it one step at a time. Let's just deal with the what it's like to run your own business or your own company. Now, for me, I think that is like a bit of bliss, if you like, in a sense, because I think what one of the reasons why I own my own business is because it offers me freedom. It offers me possibilities that I would not have if I work for someone. And I think I always tell this story of when my kids were growing up, and I mean, majority of the time while they were growing up, I've owned my business, and I ended up having to obviously spend a lot more time with them, taking them to school, picking them up from school, spending time together. And I've come to take those things for granted, but I found that a lot of people don't have that possibility or that luxury of being able to spend time with their families and spend quality time. Now, my daughter and I, were driving down a sort of small country lane where not too far from where we live, and we saw this young kid walking up, and my daughter asked me, "Oh, why isn't she? Why aren't her parents picking her up? And why is she walking home? You know?" I sort of explained to her that look, not everybody has that flexibility of having their parents pick them up from school and take them to school every day. I mean, people's situations differ, and I mean, I don't have to ask anyone for permission to go home early, or I don't have to ask anyone permission to go on holiday. I choose when I take time off work. I choose when I start work. However, I mean, it's not always roses and delight. I mean, you always have pressures which you have to deal with as a business owner, which you wouldn't necessarily have to deal with if you work with someone. So it does have its downsides as well, because sometimes people say that, I mean, because you are the business owner, you have to make it rain. What that means essentially is that, I mean, when most people go to work, they expect to get paid either at the end of the week or at the end of the month, or maybe at the end of the year if you are a shareholder in a business. So for most, for me as a business owner, I ensure that the people that work for us get paid, because the buck stops right at my doorstep. Now, that may be looked at by some people as a bit of big pressure. Well, for me, it's just what off the duck's back. It's what's got to be done. It's got to be done. So as much as possible, I really really enjoy um, being my own boss. I enjoy having staff around me. I enjoy having impact on people's lives in what I do in the many areas of business that I'm engaged in. So it offers me the ability to also build memories as well and make an impact on those around me. So that's what it's like for me to run my own business. If it's something that you want to sort of do, I mean, one of the things we pride ourselves on in Enterprise Experts is being able to equip you to take steps that will help improve your business. If you're starting from scratch, those things that will help you stay afloat, and you can apply those tips immediately in what you do. Now, the next part of that question is, what percentage of my salary should I save? And I'm 30 years old and I just started financial planning. I know this person has mentioned they're trying to save or trying to figure out how much to save from whatever income they've got coming in. Now, I take a slightly different approach, and I would say that you should look at not just savings, but also look at investments. I always say to my children that, look, if you have money coming in, I think you've got to sort of split them into what you might call 3 or 4 parts. Now, I'm a Christian, so I always sort of put a certain amount of money towards my tithing, and I always say also put some money towards investment, and also put some money towards savings as well. Of course, you have to take care of your daily expenses as well. So I think for me, I always begin from the point of view of the tithe. You start with your tithe, you save, you put some savings aside, and you also put some money aside for investment. Um, as a notional rule of thumb, I would possibly say 10% to go towards the savings and investment, and of course 10% towards tithe. Again, it depends on how much what you're earning um, in your income. Also, but I think if you the timing that you would put a certain proportion of your income towards savings and investment, over time you find that it becomes a habit, and once that habit builds up, it's something that you can so consistently apply and use in life, and it always serves you um, very very well down the line. So I hope that you found this useful, and if you have any questions, please by all means, like I said, leave your questions in the comment section below. If you're here for the first time, you haven't followed us or subscribe to any of our channels, by all means, please do so by subscribing, pressing the subscribe button at the bottom right hand corner of your screen if you're watching us via YouTube. And if you're not even watching us via YouTube, you can go to our YouTube channel and try and subscribe there. We'll be happy to have you on board. And also, if you need to be notified anytime we go live, you can click on the notification bell where you see on your screen, and that would enable you to get notified anytime we go live. It's been a pleasure being here, and I hope that when Chioma comes back next week, you'll have many more questions for her and for us to consider on your behalf. You take good care, and we'll see you next week by God's grace. Take care. Bye now.